All right,
Welcome back, everybody.
how's it going? Back from our short intermission. Hopefully the audio levels are a little bit better, but we are back, ready, and jumping straight into Champ Select.
So yeah, we're gonna see both of these teams making some adaptations here. The Caitlyn ban coming out. I'd like to see maybe a Gangplank ban coming out from the side of Denver as well. I don't think a lot of teams can handle that kind of free scaling that Gangplank affords. Not a lot of teams know how to pressure that, but we're gonna see the Xayah and the Skarner bans the second time this set.
Yeah, we can see some target bans coming out from last game. The Rise and the Caitlyn, both kind of scary. Actually,
Yeah, the Caitlyn ban, and not a target one. It's,
yeah, wait, the Caitlyn ban came out from Arizona themselves, and they had a very strong Caitlyn performance. I'm not really sure what that's about.
I mean, right now the Denver squad is blue side, so maybe they're afraid of that first pick return. They might not necessarily have an answer to the Caitlyn. So
yeah, we'll have to see how much Denver prioritizes ADC. So that first pick coming down. So right now we have very standard bans, same as last time. Azir Xayah getting banned away, as well as Tom.
maybe a Sejuani here. We don't see that ban coming through a second game in a row, and instead we're going to see the Jax because it was banned that second phase last time.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Denver. Let's see if Prim can show us why Arizona target banned that Jax and why they're letting it through, and maybe we'll see him be able to tell them to their faces, you know, there was a mistake that you gave me this Jax.
Yeah, I'm a bigger fan of the Jax than I am the Warwick, because once Jax goes in, you know, he actually has the options of coming out alive when he presses E, and he can also like jump out. A Warwick, once he's in, he's in for
There's gas pedal to the floor. There is no brakes. There's no the reverse that gear has been removed from the car.
Speaking of no brakes, we're gonna see Olaf coming out here from the side of Arizona as a response jungle pick. Maybe a top lane pick. Who knows?
Stop. We'll see. I kind of miss. Morgana was banned out that last phase in the secondary ban phase, but they're gonna pick that and Morgana up. Last game it was the Alistar, so they're switching out. The sport is no longer playing that hard engage, but instead that kind of passive. But let's be honest, our Q is kind of a hard engage. That thing is the size of a bus and lasts like 3 seconds.
Yeah, very interesting draft here so far. We have the Black Shield coming out from Morgana, and then the Ragnarok from Olaf, allowing for a lot of CC negation. So we'll just have to see what they pair that with in order to, I guess, to get some of these fights started. Because so far it's just pick on their side, but we have the Shen, the Jax, and the Swain here being locked in on the side of Denver.
Oh yeah, we'll have to see how that Stand United gets used throughout the game.
Mid lane.
Or wait, what?
we don't know yet. We'll just have to see whether or not the Morg is actually going support. I suspect it will.
Oh,
don't see too many Morgana mids these days. But...
I thought you said Warwick mid.
Oh no!
I was like, holy, these guys are ballsy.
Do we need another volume adjustment?
I think we're all right, but we'll see the Varus getting picked up from that Arizona team. Denver did have the Varus last time, but we'll see. We'll have to see how ADC win. I'm not really sure if it's how you pronounce that, but one of my friends who has that last name says it's win. So correct me if I'm wrong, players or anyone else. It's really weird because everyone I ask gives me a different answer, even though most of them are Vietnamese.
I believe it's when that's the consistent answer I've heard, but I like to butcher it as hard as possible.
Oh yeah, I think it's like one of the most common last names as well as the most butchered last names simultaneously.
So we are going to see the 2 ADC bans from the side of Arizona, since the Denver squad didn't pick up an AD.
Yeah, so
we are going to see this Scion ban, probably also another top lane ban here. Potential another counter for the Shen. Maybe we'll see like a Camille ban or something along those lines. Maybe a Gangplank is what I'd like to see, but we're going to see Galio.
Ooh. So Gangplank is open. University of Arizona.
I think it's a pretty decent matchup too into the Shen. I mean, we'll just have to see what Arizona's thinking here, what kind of composition they want to round out for themselves in these. Well, I guess they are just picking one here. we're going to see an Ornn coming out for their hard engage in tangency with the Varus. A lot of roots with the Morgana ultimate and her binding, as well as the Varus R. So a lot of hard CC actually from the side of Arizona.
So they're switching a lot of stuff up, actually. They have the Gangplank available, but he's not going to get picked again. Instead, we're going to get a tanky top laner and a kind of not hard engage, I guess, utility and soft engage Morgana, as opposed to the hard engage Alistar that they had. That was working for them last time. We're going to see Callista picked for the Denver squad, and we'll have to see how that goes. She is kind of a little bit safer this game, considering that there is no headbutt pulverize.
I think that you ought to be picking Braum here, because now with the Ornn being locked in for the side of Arizona, there's really no way to protect this Callista. Actually, if you think about it, the Ornn will just be able to ult in and then knock this Callista up, and that opens her up to this follow-up engage from the Varus or from the Olaf here. So Janna, it's going to be an okay pick for lane, and definitely an okay pick into the Morgana for the because there's not a lot that Morgana can actually block on the side of Janna in the laning phase. But maybe in these mid and late game team fights, I suspect that Ornn will definitely be running the ram down some of these throats. But we'll just have to see how that plays out.
You'll have to see how this Janna works out. Braum was actually a Duck Girl 3. I'm gonna assume her performance on Braum actually was not too bad. A lot of glacial fissures coming out and doing a lot of landing. Sorry, Duck Girl 3 actually landed a lot of glacial fissures on at least 3 people on pretty much every team fight, but there just wasn't enough damage from the rest of the team, especially the ADC, to follow it up. So they might have wanted that Braum pick again, but I'm not really sure how much Janna's gonna do for them. The disengage is gonna be all right, but they do have the Ragnarok as well as the Black Shield to kind of negate some of that disengage. So we'll have to see how they deal with it.
Yeah, I imagine that maybe they're just a little timid from that loss in the last game. They might have assumed it wasn't as effective as they wanted to be. But like you said, I mean, we even saw in that early team fight where the Glacial Fissure baited out that Alistar Unchained ultimate into the various chains of corruption, where she was the one really setting the tempo of that team fight and allowing for that entire play to happen. So kind of disappointed to see that they shied away from what was working, and it would have also been pretty effective in tangency with like the Callista ultimate, say. And that root is also actually it's pairable with the Swain passive. He can pull in those rooted targets. So as far as overall composition, though, I don't dislike what either one of these teams has. I think though that once again, if it gets to late game, the Arizona squad is just going to be able to 5v5 and take objectives like that. But so it's up to Denver to accrue an early lead and set the tempo of the game.
Yeah, they're gonna have to look for that late game potential. Their team's a little bit all over the place. I'm not really sure. Jack's late game is obviously pretty darn effective, as well as Callista, but I'm not really sure. I'm not very well versed with the Swain rework. So we haven't really talked about that mid lane matchup. What do you think about Swain versus Victor, and how do you think Swain's gonna factor into that late game composition or team fights?
Yeah, I think Swain having like a slightly shorter range with his shotgun kind of Q compared to the Victor E for the wave clear. He's gonna get shoved in some of like if like Victor has his like first hex core. Um in the early game, I think it'll be neutral, as we saw in the previous matchup with the Talia and the Rise. We're just gonna see the standard mages wave clear against each other. I think it's really just gonna be up to how each of these mid laners responds to the global pressure and the skirmishes in the early game. We saw both of those mid laners roam up to the top river when they caught the Warwick out, or when it was Trundle who was getting caught out, right?
Yeah, in the top lane fight?
When Trundle got caught out, we saw both mid laners roam up to that, and I think it's just going to be that same kind of scenario where if the bot lane pulls some of the pressure down, like maybe the Shen and the Swain can look to TP in and snowball off of those. As far as late game, though, I think they scale about pretty evenly in terms of damage. Maybe the Jax has an edge on Olaf in terms of damage. We'll just see how they build. But Callista, Varus, maybe about the same, and Victor probably a slight edge over the Swain, and Shen over the Ornn. But all in all, I think it's going to come down to just who plays it better and maybe who has a gold lead.
Yeah, of course, it normally is down to individual skill at that. We'll have to see how these teams play out. I'm interested in seeing the Swain versus Victor match, basically the most. It is really interesting because Swain and Victor aren't exactly, well, Victor a little bit aren't the most mobile champions, but you could see in the last game that I believe it was Ryze who was picked after Talia, and it was kind of an answer to her mobility with the Weaver's Wall. Ryze was able to match that with the Realm Warp, and pretty much follow her all around the map, which was a huge factor in most of those team fights. Ryze was everywhere, but so was Ryze was everywhere Talia was, and that played a huge factor in making most of those fights even instead of getting that global advantage.
Right, right. But here we aren't seeing as much global pressure from the mid lane, so maybe it'll be a bit more about that 1v1 matchup instead.
Yeah, they do have that double teleport on the side of Denver.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about the hard engage necessarily affecting the front line. You know, the Shen, the Jax, and the Swain, like when the Swain gets like his Roa and his Zonias, it shouldn't be too bad for them to get engaged on. I am a little bit worried about this Kalista though, and how she's going to be able to position versus the likes of Olaf, who's going to just be able to Ragnarok and ignore all of this kind of CC. But the Kalista does have like the Janna shield, the Janna heal, and the Shen ulti, so she might be fine.
Arizona just walked straight through a ward with all 5 of them, so they could get collapsed on right here. Shen's not really moving, and Swain might get caught out here. Did you see how he kind of just like did that? They call it the jungler's happy feet, where they don't really know exactly where to go. He could get caught out just for that, and he's gonna get Morgana. Oh my god, he burns the flash, and the Morgana binding lands straight on top of him. He's gonna possibly go down here, and that final axe to seal the deal. I'm not really sure what was happening with my game right there, but it froze right as Morgana hit the binding. I'm not really exactly sure what the viewer saw, but just because of that, just make sure to go ahead and speed up your games, just so we don't have that little desync problem.
You just want to sync timers right now. I'm sitting at 127, 128. About that. We're going to see the junglers clearing their first buff right now. The Olaf going to go B and pick up those early Predator boots and the pink ward. So he's looking to create some map pressure here in the early stages of the game with his first blood gold.
Oh yeah, definitely, and kind of a late start to the jungle, just very slightly for Arizona. You can see that Jax is already clearing the wraiths as Olaf is just getting there. That was kind of weird, but Janna is a fantastic leisure with the shield and the AD bonus, especially for Jax.
Yeah, very, very interested to see how this plays out with the flash burn on the side of the Swain. Olaf can't like necessarily flash in and lock down the Swain like some other junglers might be able to, and he doesn't offer a huge amount of upfront damage. It's like a sustain kind of with his multiple axe throws and his auto and his true damage. So Swain should be safe if he just keeps warding and stays aware where the enemy jungler is.
Yeah,
but it looks like Olaf is wrapping around here for the Predator gank.
Yeah, if you watch this mid lane, look at how low he is. The Predator going off and the flash forward, and the kill is going to be secured. Let me actually speed up my game because I think I was a little bit behind there just because of that freeze early. I'm not really sure what's going on with my game, but it is desyncing a little bit. I apologize for that, but I will try and get this solved. Swain is teleporting back, and he is already 0-2. Olaf picking up 2 kills with a significant advantage.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm a liar, and Olaf is gonna pick up that second kill on the Swain here, putting him even further behind.
Oh yeah, and a little bit of a root and the never move going on to. Actually, I don't know if that's what it's called anymore, but look at the harass going down from the Victor. He is completely out of mana right now, but he does have that assist advantage, as well as a little bit of an EXP advantage on top of that Swain.
Yeah, Swain just gonna teleport back to lane and get some of that EXP lead, or neutralize some of that EXP lead that the Victor has right now. Victor gonna go B and pick up that early tier for his Seraph's Embrace, but Ornn gonna cancel the dash on Shen.
Yeah, a little bit of a almost they seem like they wanted to commit to that dive. There is I'm not sure if you're seeing this, but there's a little bit of a visual bug on my screen. Olaf is walking side by side by his red buff. Red buff not actually circling him. Don't know if you can see that or not, but it's a little bit funny on my screen. Same thing with Jax. It's kind of crazy.
No, I can't say. All clear on my end.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It looks like I'm having a little bit of trouble with my game, but I think we should be fine. Engage going down on the mid lane. What a trade from Swain, actually. That was a really good trade. Victor getting chunked out down to about half.
Yeah, using his bigger wave currently, although he does want to shove this in because right now Swain is sitting at the halfway point in this lane, exposing himself to the incoming Olaf gang.
Ooh, but Olaf is popping that Predator, running straight at the Swain. The gravity field going down, and it looks like that they're going to pick up another clean kill. The axe going down, and a little bit of a... Not really sure if the heal was necessary, but he wanted to get that speed boost and secure that kill on the Swain. Flash was not up, so I don't know if that was exactly necessary, but
this is exactly what you want to do here as that Olaf jungle. You just want to keep pressuring in the one lane that you're able to farm for gold, and you're going to tilt that one player, and you're going to put that one player behind, and you're going to expose the team's like team play as well, because maybe this guy is the shot caller, and now you've started to poke holes in their ability to play as a unit.
Yeah, God the King is pressuring that mid lane really hard. 3 kills already down on that Swain, and his flash is finally coming up. Such a huge I think honestly everything kind of led from that tiny little step back when Swain was running in the jungle. He kind of didn't know whether to run left or right from the Wraith camp, left or right from that bush to go to this tower or go around with his teammate, and he hesitated a little bit, and I think that completely costed him this advantage in the mid lane. It's crazy how much something small like that, just a little misstep, can cause 6 minutes into the game. 0-3.
Yeah, League of Legends is a game of pixels, you know, like the same way that football is, right?
Yeah, game of inches.
Ornn laying down some trades up in the top lane. Not much happening in these side lanes. We're seeing all this action happening in the mid lane though.
Yeah, and you can see this Olaf creeping up again. He really wants the Swain's blood, dude. He's looking for that, looking to burn that flash at least one more time, and it looks like he's going to back off. He's just creeping. The Swain has no idea. This hunter's looking to shoot this bird.
I'd like to believe that he has some idea. It's just that as a mid laner, you have so many options to get ganked from that you can't really cover all of them. So it's kind of a struggle when you're this immobile mid laner versus a higher damage mid laner and jungler combo that's just able to burst you for so much so quickly. Now he just has to play super far back. You're seeing Victor zoning him like all the way at his turret now.
Yep. We'll have to see what how he's gonna decide to come back from this. I mean, it'll be a little bit better for him once he hits 6 and gets that demonic ascension. But until then, we can see that this Jax isn't really doing too much compared to the Olaf. The Olaf has really been shoving, not even pushing, just absolutely shoving this advantage down into the mid lane, stealing away the red buff instead of like last game when they traded buffs, stealing away that red buff, securing Infernal Dragon, and now going to clear his own buffs. Jax is looking a little bit lost as well, not even level 6 compared to Olaf, so they're already building a steady lead. Arizona is already building a pretty solid lead.
Yeah, things looking pretty grim. Unfortunately, or very fortunately for the side of Denver, that this bleeding isn't really hemorrhaging outside of the mid lane and the jungle duo. Luckily, you know, the side lanes aren't struggling too much as a result of this. So as long as the Swain can retain his mental fortitude and continue to farm, all is not lost at the moment.
Yeah, League of Legends is definitely a mental game, primarily. Mechanics and game knowledge are very, very essential, but the ability to not tilt and keep your composure through ganks like this, and even just like a misstep in the early game and having to go 0-3 is extremely important. If you can keep your composure, this game can change drastically.
Ooh, Ornn looking to make this fight happen, but getting chunked really low. The Olaf gonna come in. but I
Yeah,
don't
with
think
all
they're
of the
gonna
force
follow up on
god
this time.
coming in. Yeah, he's looking to. Yeah, there's definitely not going to be a dive around here, but they're going to pressure this tower. Shen is going to be a little bit scared, but I don't think that they can actually dive this. It's actually a little bit dangerous. We'll have to see. Olaf could do a lot of damage, but he only has the swiftness boots as well as the cinder. So not too much straight up AD. In fact, he only has the hunter's machete, but a little bit of pressure going down in the bot lane. Callista trading pretty well. That Varus, Morgana, Janna. Oh, the ultimate coming out. And a force flash, or a flash forced again, from Varus. Exhaust onto Morgana, actually, but the Chains of Corruption, and yeah, they're going to have to disengage that. A 4v2 down in the bot lane with Stand United.
Miscommunication there, actually, from the Janna and the Shen. The Dark Girl ended up backing off when Prim's ulti came down. But she was in really no danger getting one shot, I think, with the 300 or 400 shield that she had combined with her own.
Oh, and the Olaf is running at this. You cannot escape from that true damage. And it looks like he's actually going to go in and clean up this kill. The team is on the other side of the map, but it looks like Olaf's about to go ham sandwich on this Jax. We'll have to see.
Shield.
Yeah, he's diving kind of solo 1v4. Morgana can't do much but put a black shield on him. But the Arcane Comet coming out. Oh my, or is that? Yeah. Aerie coming out with the Dark Binding under the tower. What a snipe from Scapman. That was beautiful.
Arizona gonna transition into this 4-man tower push.
Whoa.
They're both gonna flash forward.
Flash,
burning.
Dark Binding, and Callista has to burn her flash as well, but Ragnarok looks like it's gonna seal the deal on this
It is
kill.
not though. Oh my lord, Callista dodging the axe and getting the execute Ren damage.
That is wow, that was a smart play. A little bit of greed coming out from that
maybe a
Olaf.
little overzealous from the
Yeah. Trying to push that a little bit too far. Don't get too far ahead of yourself. The game is still underway.
Yeah, it's very easy to do that as Olaf when you can just press the go button and when you have really multiple go buttons and you can zoom in and try and slap a carry as hard as you can with your damage, but he gets punished there unfortunately. But Arizona's still gonna pick up the turret.
Yep, and we'll see the waves resetting. I'm not sure if they can pause the game or not. I don't think I'm not going to do that, but my game is having a couple issues freezing here and there, especially during like the team fights, and that buff displacement that I was telling you about is kind of getting it's really weird. They're actually displacing even further. Like Morgana's walking like 2 Teemos away from her blue buff on top of her. It's kind of getting weird.
Oh, do you mean the buff circle that envelops the champion? Oh.
It is like gone. But an engage coming on from Ornn, catching this Janna off guard. Wow. I guess that's what happens when you're level 6 support versus a level 9 Ornn. Yeah, even though he has no damage, that's pretty ridiculous actually.
Yeah, it always feels bad when you give your carries EXP and they repay you by letting you get soloed out by the big mean tank in the top lane.
Oh yeah, that's a feels good, man. I'm going to see if I can reconnect or something. Hopefully when there's no action. I'll do it after maybe a team fight resets. But sorry about this. I apologize. There is some really weird technical
Morgana
issues
gonna get
going
stunned
down
up under
with my
turret
game.
though.
So okay. Yeah, I'm gonna actually go ahead and reset.
For this brief moment, ARIZ will become your color caster and play-by-play caster. So let's see how this one turns out. Morgana gonna land the binding. Olaf gonna throw the axe while they pressure down the turret. Olaf getting pushed back by the Janna ulti. Gonna burn the Ragnarok. Running in, getting blocked up by the minions. Callista gonna use the Fate's Call. I'm not sure if that's what the ability is to save her Janna. And the bot lane from the side of Denver is just gonna walk out scot-free while Arizona returns to the river to pick up this Rift Herald.
Yeah, once again, I'm gonna have to apologize. I'm not really sure what's happening with my game client, but I am reconnected now, so we will be okay, and I won't let ARIZ cast this game all alone. Returning, hopefully the problem will be fixed. I don't think it's actually a computer problem. I think it might be a client-side problem, but we'll have to just
blame the
doesn't happen
spaghetti
again.
man.
Yeah, pretty much. Write spaghetti code.
Yeah, as if the game couldn't get any buggier. You know, the spectator client obviously has to have its issues too.
Oh yeah, of course. You know,
Yeah,
fix one thing, break three more.
yeah. I'm surprised we
One step
haven't
forward, two steps
heard the quirky Gatling gun just go off for absolutely no
Oh
reason
my
in this game.
God, I forgot about that bug. The bug is actually, that was crazy. Oh, Dark Browning falling onto the Victor. Gravity Field going down to a little bit of a stun lock, but he is gonna get protected by the other three in his team. Denver looking to I'm not really sure what they're looking for in this game, but it looks like they're just as lost as I am in terms of trying to read their game plan. They are 5,000 gold down, and as we've seen from the last game, Arizona is pretty good at building up these leads.
As well as pushing them, we're seeing them continue to push down their lead through the mid lane now, rotating their bot lane out of the side lanes now that both of those outer turrets are taken. They're just going to look to take down this final outer turret and open up the map. I don't think they'll use the Rift Herald from Olaf here. They'll probably save that for the inner line. But if push comes to shove and the timer draws near, then maybe they'll use it then. But for right now, we're going to see them move down into this red side jungle, get some ward coverage so that they can transition onto the dragon.
Yeah, this dragon is going to be going down. No contest from the Denver team. They really just have to turtle right now and try to not lose too much ward control. Otherwise, that's really how the game goes. Arizona pushes up their ward line, and Denver is able to do less and less and less, especially with their comp, which is struggling to scale up. In contrast to Arizona's, which is scaling up pretty heftily. As you can see, just two abilities landing from Morgana. Piercing Arrow from Varus in the mid lane did not even do that much damage, but Morgana, Dark Binding, and the Tormented Soil going to chunk out Callista pretty hard.
Horn with the Ram coming in, but he's going to get the Shen counter TP.
Yeah, but Stand United is on the way. 3v1 on the Ornn. Ornn actually forced a flash, and they're going to back off. Yeah, they see the
They're getting the slow chase in from Arizona.
Down. Yep, Arizona's team is barreling down through the river. We'll have to see. Yep, this Ragnarok is going to come down. The axe misses, but Shen is a little bit caught out. The axe is going to hit Jax and Shen, but it can't auto-attack. Chain of Corruption going down on Swain. It looks like he's going to go down to Grievous Wounds applied, and yes, we will see the kill on... no we won't, sorry. My game is actually still lagging. It kind of froze right there. I thought the Swain was going to die, but he didn't. Meanwhile, Victor is pressuring the bot lane. 1v2, actually, with that blue buff. And this game is looking grim, again, for Denver. How do you think they can come back from this?
I think capitalizing on over-aggression, hopefully the Olaf will dive too many turrets too far, or the Ornn will try and 1v1 as we saw. We saw the Stand United come in and the jungler counter gank. So that was a pretty good move. It's just unfortunate that the Ornn was able to flash out and they didn't necessarily commit for that, and they weren't able to get anything off of that. But if we continue to see Arizona egregiously overextend, I think their way back into the game, unfortunately, is only.
But that Dark Binding onto Swain. Yep, Grievous Wounds coming down. There's no way he could heal that even from his transformation. And Rift Herald is gonna do work on these incoming towers. Yeah, the pressure is real. Denver not even able to turtle successfully. Janna just walks up and gets chunked for 75% of her health. She's still level 8 to Victor's level 12. That was a four level difference between them, and just one E did all of that damage.
Yeah, and that's all stemming off of the fact that Swain just burned his flash level 1 instead of walking away or perhaps dying graciously. And then that resultant camp from the Olaf just gave Victor this enormous lead. We see a 70 CS differential here between the mid laners and a 30 CS lead in the top lane as well as the jungle. So a lot of this gold lead isn't even from the 5 kill differential. It's really from the subsequent pressure and the turrets and the CS that they were able to accrue afterwards.
Yeah, and they can't even do much. Even when team members of Arizona are getting caught out like that, Olaf was doing Raptors right there, and all he had to do was Ragnarok out, and all 4 of those of those Denver members could not do a thing to him. He just walked away scot-free, basically, besides burning his ult, which is a decently short cooldown.
Yeah, as you were asking, like, how did they get back into this? It's really quite difficult because Olaf has the Ragnarok to get out, right, and the Morgana can Black Shield her carries. So, yeah, I mean, in the first place, you know, the Denver squad is actually quite lacking in terms of hard engage. They don't really have something like the Ram or like a Malphite ultimate. They have, you know, the is it Fate's Call, I think, with the Kalista ultimate?
Yeah, it is Fate's Call.
And so that would be a form of hard engage, and then you have like Jax Flash E or Shen Taunt. So you have a lot of like really short range engages here, and on top of that, like a lot of them can be negated by the enemy composition. So it's very grim here with this 10k disparity.
I think just like we said in Champion Select, I think you were completely right in terms of saying that Denver's team is under a little bit of panic in terms of trying to collect their thoughts and decide on a solid team comp, because the Kalista and Janna is not working out too well for them. Janna is not able to do too much, and it looks like Duck Girl 3 is really out of her comfort zone, playing a support that's has to sit back and can't really do much for her team besides disengage, and not much of that can be done either, considering the Black Shield and the Ragnarok, just as you were saying. I don't think team comp was agreed upon basically by the entire team.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can't even say jack of all trades, a master of none. It's very split in its core functionality, almost to a point where it doesn't really have one. I mean, I'd like to see Duck Girl back on like something like a Braum, or maybe something comparable like an Alistar, or like a Thresh, you know, something to give her agency, because I feel like
yeah. Wait, is this series best of 5?
I believe so.
Okay.
I think the other semifinals were best of 5s, so
yeah.
Hopefully in game 3 we can see them adapt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a huge fan in general of these low CC compositions, but we're gonna see a fight here.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they do. Jax flash E-ing, and just as you said, the Counter-Strike not really going to do much. And as you can see, the Redemption is going to go down, and I don't think there's anything this team of Denver can really do. Yeah, it was kind of just a lost fight from the beginning, kind of a messy engage, as well as I'm not really sure what keeps happening, but the engages, the exhausts keep going down on the wrong people. Like earlier in the game, the exhaust went down onto a Morgana. This fight, I think it might have been just Arizona not really caring too much, but they were exhausting the Janna, and Stand United even went on the Janna, and I think it was just kind of a lost cause. I'm not really sure why the Stand United went on Janna. That was kind of confusing.
I'm just gonna take the inhib and walk out, just willy-nilly. Very casual 4-for-0 team fight. Well, extended 5-for-0, really.
And Arizona has all of these options with the Infernal Drake, as well as the Baron. With up on the table for them, 12,000 gold lead, and it looks like they're gonna try and close this game out with one of the two or both.
Yeah, I have to say that I'm not a huge fan of the Jax here. Part of it maybe is the fact that they were behind because of the level 1, but right now Orin getting caught out right here in the river.
It was actually the first time we were kind of proven wrong, but that looks like that was kind of just like every man for themselves situation. I don't think the support in the top lane we're really on the same page. Morgana kind of black shielded herself and just said, "See ya," Orin ran for the hills right there, and that's gonna allow Denver to secure this Infernal Dragon, but.
I would be worried here, even if they get this dragon. The fact that you have a 13k gold disparity here means that the Olaf is going to run in without any fear.
Yep, here goes Ragnarok. Straight in, Redemption on top of all 5 of them, but the Chains of Corruption also coming down onto everyone. Janna's Monsoon really isn't going to do anything, and that fight was cleaned up very, very fast. I was wrong about the secure. More like Red Team was going to secure near Ace.
The CC invulnerability doing some massive favors in tangency with that Predator. Just gonna walk into the pit, drop the smite, and drop those axes.
So we can see from this game that we were kind of right on the predictions of Denver was kind of uncomfortable with switching their comp around. Jax got to play his coveted Jax character. I mean, he got target banned out earlier, and even with his favored jungler, he couldn't do much this game. Meanwhile, on Arizona's side, we were saying we're not really sure how this is going to work out because of that gangplank in the top lane and that hard engage support with Alistar in the bot lane. But Arizona has showed us that the Anguished One is perfectly capable of playing both an aggressive top laner with global presence as well as Ornn, and Scatman has completely proven himself to play Morgana just as well as he can play something like Alistar as like a hard engage.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see something other than the Jax and the Janna in the next game. Probably a bit more hard engage, something maybe again like the Braum, maybe like a Jarvan in the jungle or Sejuani. We saw them drop that ban in game 1, and then we're gonna see a fight here. Ornn coming in.
Yeah, that tornado hitting 3 people, and the Chains of Corruption going down onto the Jax, and Jax and Shen, kind of their tankier, stronger members of Denver's team, are going to go down extremely fast. Yeah, the team was not really together, but at this point we can't really expect Denver to come out on top of many of these team fights.
So this game, an even more dominant one, ending a whole minute quicker here.
Yeah, it looks like Arizona's just going to roll with this momentum, pedal to the metal, and I don't think they're going to stop. I think they're going to go all the way in and try and clean sweep with a 3-0 over Denver.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see maybe a couple changes in the draft, but a lot of it, or at least some of it, can be attributed to this to the Swain not really being able to do anything in lane. We saw the Talia do a bit more in the first game.
Yeah, the Weaver's Wall was a decent global presence.
So I'm expecting maybe a bit more even game in game 3 if the side of Denver can just keep their heads on their shoulders, you know, put this game past them and say, you know what, it was unfortunate that we lost this advantage at level 1, but we can bounce back. And I think that's just what they're gonna have to do in the game 3.
I would love to see. You always love to see those Cloud9 reverse sweeps, but it is gonna be a very hard one. Denver has a mountain to climb, but while they work on this climb and gear up for their hike, I think we're going to take a short intermission to step into the next game. I am going to restart my client just because I don't know what the heck was going on with it, but we will try to get these problems resolved. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching.